I, I mean, we try to use all visual parts of the knife as to look like the music, to follow the music and continue where the music ends. And then this is how we think the music looks like. We always go into characters when we make music. So all our music or songs are told by different characters. To so this is just something that follows that direction.
Well, I think the reason why we use this kind of look is just one way of interpreting the darkness, but both humoristic part of our music. Um, I think that contrast is really important, and you can't do real depth without a contrast. Either it's some brightness or some humor. That contrast is important.
And it's important to be a little. That it's supposed to be a little bit ugly as well. It's nothing is good when it's perfect. I mean, when we make music, if we make a really beautiful track, we always have to put in something dirty in it to create the dynamics.
When releasing music in the pop format, as I think we do songs with vocals and quite straight arrangement, and we also make music videos, and we act in a pop area of music culture. Then I think it's important for me to question that area, because 99% of that area is shit, and it's very commercial, and it's very I don't find it so uninteresting. So then I find it important to do something about that.
I think also it's very important to take away focus on the person behind the music. I think the music should be as important and good so it can stand for itself without connecting to things like lifestyle, fashion, and how you look, and it's so much focus on private life and how you should live in the rest of this pop cultural world.
I think it's getting harder and harder, but I think if you really try, it's possible, and it's. Oh, I forgot the question there. But I'm just thinking about the question.
I think it's good if you at least try uh, to show that it's a big difference for yourself, that your private life is something that you have in private, and you work with the music, it's something completely different. It's yeah, it's two completely different lives. I mean, we have all only appeared in one music video, which we after it we regret a little bit because it didn't turn out so good. So I think we try to appear with our own bodies as little as possible, but at the same time we're in the pop world. It's much easier to promote your album if you have pictures of yourself. So that that's why we try to at least having the pictures look like our music.
I think one important part of our music is to distance other kinds of expressions. Like we could have we could sometimes exoticize over, for example, Afro-American rhythms, and I find that quite exciting to put that into a theatrical context. And I don't think, I think it's more about kitsch rather than actual like going to a place and being inspired by that place. It's more like an artificial thing.
I'm not traveling around the world a lot, so I think it's very much of an inner picture that you have of other cultures, and I think our last album is a lot about uh, the forest, or more about psychological inner ideas about the forest. I mean, we don't go out and walk a lot, Olof and I, but it's still something we find a little bit scary. I mean, Sweden exists mostly of trees. It's a lot of empty areas, very deserted, and you easily get lost.
I think the exoticism is quite important there. We live in the city, but we have a certain perception of the nature which we try to illustrate. And in that particular song, The Captain, I think um, I just thought of these big mountains, almost like Alp mountains. And I've never been there, but it's like um, it's just an artificial interpretation of these mountains, I think.
But we have been very,
Yeah,
very
but
up
I'm
north.
thinking of like Alps uh, with a proper mountain, but with just a small amount of snow on top of it.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's very easy in Sweden to go out in the nature. You don't have to. I mean, maybe if you live in Stockholm, which is the biggest city, it's like 30 minutes drive with your car, and then you can be alone somewhere with nature. But I think it's if you're not brought up with it, I think it's quite difficult to get a good relation to it. I think it's a very important question at the same time. We have in I think it's almost the same everywhere in Europe, but we have in Sweden a lot of problems with scared women. I mean, if you're a woman, you always have to think about how you dress, where you go out, if you can go home on your own. Um, it's it's a big problem. I think we both are very interested in politics and feminism, especially, and
I think we think about that in every track.
I mean,
If maybe if yeah, what were you saying?
no, du säger du. Nu får du ta lite ansvar.
I think if a song feels too male or female, we have to have a contrast. Like, not a contrast, but turn it into being more either genderless or more unisex, which I think is we always think about that in videos and tracks and like everything we do.